Now, there is no doubt about it that many different actors, actresses, musicians, comedians, directors, writers, producers, they are all beginning to melt down ever since the events of November the 5th and January 20th, and when President Donald Trump took office and signed the many executive orders out there. It really created a lot of chaos within Hollywood, within the film industry, and now, yes, even within the music industry. We now have a lot of things going on with Madonna going on endless rants and tirades and saying the worst things possible. So let's drop into this and exactly what's going on here with Madonna, because we already know that she is one of the more insufferable musicians out there, or singers I must add. But what's interesting about this is that we know that Madonna always makes no sense at all. She says the most illogical things out there, and it's only beginning to snowball. This is Mike Zero. Subscribe if you're new and like this video to see future updates. You can also follow me at Mike01. I thank you also very much for the great and kind support. So it's really not all that shocking that Madonna would go on yet another tirade about not just Donald Trump, but also about the American citizens, right? We know that we heard this over and over from Alec Baldwin, from many other celebrities out there like George Clooney and Julia Roberts, Robert De Niro, Jimmy Kimmel. The list goes on and on and on. But focusing on Madonna, this is where things really hit rock bottom. In fact, it hits below rock bottom. This is hitting bedrock at this point because she says some of the most insane things out there in 2025. Let's dive into this, shall we? Now, look, we know that Madonna, I think that she should just retire already. She should just call it quits. She should really keep her mouth shut at this point because whatever she says is not contributing to anything positive. However, on top of everything here, this is where it gets interesting. Now, with the woke media in Hollywood now in financial ruin and reacting very negatively after the 2024 election victory to Donald Trump, one major development going on now involves more to do with Madonna and, of course, who she recently went on a tirade about Trump and the Trump presidency and the American people who voted for him. Madonna delivered the following in a desperate move to convince others to follow her beliefs. "I am a proud, mature woman," she says, "who stands by my values, and to witness the destruction of our freedoms in this country is rather appalling under the Trump presidency, who has only done worse things for the educated American citizens. The problem right now with our country is that we have an overabundance of uneducated and out-of-touch American citizens that voted for a man blindly without any knowledge or signs of the consequences that would follow. This is a total disgrace, viewing this as a woman and what's going on with how our government now is preparing to abolish DEI. The most important thing of all is in the beautiful land of Hollywood, both for film and music, and I have never been more depressed over something like this, to see so many opportunities stripped away from so many people. We have people knocking on doors now, which is very scary, and they are getting booted from this country for all the wrong reasons. This is a terrible and most unfortunate series of events happening from a man that believes he is a king or an everlasting leader." Guys, let me just pause here for a moment. Now, she low-key just acknowledged the deportations taking place at a rapid rate right now, day by day, on a daily basis. Alright, we know that Trump has a new quota, around 1,800 now, to go out there for arrests, and she's having a lot of problems with that. And seemingly, she is supporting those to remain illegally within the country, just like Selena Gomez really put that out there in her crying video on social media, where she had to actually take it down. And even after she took it down, she went on a little micro rant on Instagram, posting a story. Well, apparently you can't show your emotions, right? She went on those rants, but she goes on to conclude further, alright? She goes on to say, "And mark my words, he will seek a third term. He was not joking about what he said. I believe every word that I say, and I am not going to remain silent over all this nonsense that's been happening in this country since January 20th. It's already going way downhill, and it's not 30 days yet. Can you imagine what the first 100 days will be like? It makes you wonder It makes you want to just leave the country, which I am considering right now, because this isn't the American, this is not the America that I remember anymore. It just isn't. We need to educate more citizens, whether they like it or not, because they are part of the problem too. This is an emergency and it needs to be taken care of. For far too long, we have dealt with the American people bowing down to Trump like he is the answer to everything, and sadly, the amount of the misinformed are growing, and I will be honest about that. They are growing in numbers at a rapid rate, and it's frightening. Now, before I get to her final words about how she views the Trump presidency, how she views politics, again, I can't stress this enough, guys. If you're a musician, actor, actress, whatever it may be, in show business, generally speaking, you do not drag politics into your career, period. You're going to alienate 50 to 75% of your audience right off the bat, maybe even more than that at this point in 2025. And so Madonna is really just hitting rock bottom at this point. She doesn't know quite how to cope with the fact that Trump is the president. He will be the president for the next 4 years. And she's saying crazy things like how he's going to seek a third term. Trump was obviously joking about that. I mean, let's be very real about this. That was a joke. He knows what he's doing. He knows whatever he says right is going to actually frazzle these out of touch with reality comedians, musicians, actors, actresses. And he's getting a laugh about that, you know? I mean, it's so easy to see, or it's so funny to see how easy they can actually be tricked like that. You know, the fact that Madonna really believes that Trump was actually not making a joke, that's crazy talk. But overall, moving onwards, she goes on to conclude, I don't know if we will ever be able to return to normalcy, so maybe I should advise that some of my peers and colleagues should follow suit and leave the country. I think it would be best for most people's mental health right now. We need to self-adjust ourselves with all the toxicity coming from this plan that likes coming from this man that likes to act like he's president. Because quite frankly, we don't have a president right now. We have a man in a suit who is a fanboy of Elon Musk and other personalities that are just flat out not politicians. Period. And this is the behavior that needs to be called out endlessly. So again, I mean, there is Madonna's rant about her view on politics. I mean, it's basically you're uneducated, you're misinformed unless you're on the other side, right? Then you're magically not uneducated or misinformed. Then you're magically educated out of the blue right there. But what's interesting about this is the fact that Madonna is the latest example of someone that really likes to drag politics again in 2025 into her career. And this is exactly why their careers are floundering. This is exactly why you have a lot of newcomers coming into the equation now. A lot of new faces that don't engage in politics. That's how it should be. That's how it always should be, right? If you're not really a political comedian, or if you're not anything like that, politics should not be at the forefront of your career. All right? It really just should not be. I mean, that's the ultimate truth. And so I think at the end of the day, there's more things to worry about in this world than politics. I think that people like Madonna are just so out of touch with reality. They don't have to care about real world things anymore, and they don't have to care about, you know, real world issues at that. So again, this is another example of Hollywood really losing their minds and the music industry really going down in financial ruin. And I would like to hear what you all have to say about this below in the comments. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel, and I will catch you guys later.